But first up tonight, this week has been dominated politically by the increasingly bitter debate around climate policy, including Paris Accord targets and the ongoing debate around the Coalition's plan for Australia's nuclear future. But there is another issue in the background that could shift even more votes, in my view, especially in the outer suburbs of our three biggest cities, Sydney, Brisbane and Melbourne. And that's the tricky question surrounding immigration policy. Now, I use the word tricky deliberately because to even raise the idea of how big is too big for Australia's population is to attract critics that will label you racist at worst and protectionist at best. Today, with fresh figures released, we see just how not only has the federal government not slowed down the number of migrants coming into our country, the numbers to December last year exploded. And it doesn't look like things are slowing down anytime soon. Headlines in Melbourne's Herald Sun today trumpeted state population growth outpaces New South Wales. I thought, hello, I need to dig into those numbers, and you'd have to be pretty stupid not to realise what sort of ongoing issues this is going to bring. Let's take the two big states of New South Wales and Victoria for a start. So hold on to your hat. In 2023 last year, with the latest numbers to the end of December, a combined 371,500 people were added to the population of those two states. That's a staggering number of new residents. Most of them, as you know, go to Melbourne and Sydney. And as we know, we're not keeping up with population increases in every area. Where are the new houses for these people to live in? Are we building extra schools to educate them, hospitals to treat them, doctors' surgeries, extra public transport, road infrastructure, you name it? We are flooding the big cities with people while state and federal governments sit on their collective hands, hoping somehow we can absorb all these people. It's just not going to happen. Victoria's population grew by 2.8%, Western Australia's by 3.3%, New South Wales by 2.2%. I could go on and on. This figure shocked even me. One demographer, Mark McCrindle, predicts Victoria's population will hit 7 million next month. 7 million. Drill into the detail and you'll find international students and skilled migrants made up the bulk of Victoria's net overseas migration figures in 2023 at a figure of 160,000. So there you have it. Of the 186,500 extra people in Victoria, 160 of that was from overseas. 160,000 of that was from overseas. You can add 26,000 newborns. That takes the figure to 186. It's insanity. And on the same day we get those numbers, it was revealed in an international study ranking housing affordability around the globe. Looking at 94 cities, Sydney was the second least affordable capital city on earth to buy a house. Melbourne wasn't far behind, and both Sydney and Melbourne were more expensive when it comes to buying a home than London and New York. You have to ask, how has this been able to happen? And you can only come up with one answer that stands out. To be able to keep bragging about economic growth and keep tax dollars rolling in, you need to keep topping up the population. So if the Coalition think nuclear energy will be their big standout policy come election day, think again. Just as in almost all of the European countries at elections this week, and just as in the US presidential election in November, immigration and secure borders are huge political issues. Australia might not have the leaky southern border of the States or the influx of refugees fleeing poverty in Africa and Europe has to deal with, but we do have a homegrown immigration problem of our own making. Victoria, quite simply, is not capable of housing a population topping 7 million. New South Wales capital, Sydney, is so expensive no migrant could possibly afford to buy a house. Peter Dutton's onto something with his nuclear gamble. Let's see if he's now brave enough to tackle the elephant in the room that will send the left into a tailspin and put up the Australia is full mate sign. Time will tell.